Hello, I'm Dr. Vonda Reeves. I'm a gastroenterologist that practices in Flowood, Mississippi. Today, I'd like to talk to you about eating and aging. Why change? Now, most of us have grown up with eating habits that were acquired when we were children. We started off as infants eating baby food. Then, as we grew older, our diet changed as we developed teeth. And then finally, as we became toddlers, solid food entered our diet. As a child, we had no control over what we ate. We ate what was brought to us by our parents and relatives. These allowed us to acquire habits that were sometimes good and sometimes unhealthy. As adolescents, horizons in most individuals, the need for more nutritious food to support rapid growth of teenagers was paramount. We could eat huge amounts of food and never gain an ounce. In most cases, young adulthood found us using the same eating patterns. Only at this stage, we had more independent choice of what our food selections might be. If we were athletic, the energy requirements for sports and other activities were fueled by eating large amounts of food, regardless of the type. We were burning energy then, so therefore the caloric content was not as important. From 30 to 50, most of us have been able to choose our diets and have embedded in us habits for eating certain foods. Unfortunately, this is the time in life in which health problems associated with aging tend to occur. These may be in the form of diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, and others. Most health problems are centered around what we eat and weight gain. When we get into our 60s, it's definitely a time to change. Today, my objectives are quite simple. I'll review the effects of eating on aging. Then I'll look at specific food sources that we need as we age. Supplemental deficiencies will be listed, and then I'll attempt to describe the best diet as a goal for seniors. This is always a place to understand that I am not replacing your primary care physician. I am only providing information that may help you to know what you may need as you age. Of course, in any diet, it's always best to review this with your primary care physician or healthcare provider. So let's begin by looking at fiber. Why do we need fiber? Well, first let me point out one thing. No adult eats enough fiber. Fiber is important for several reasons, and I'll try to review them with you. Fiber helps to stabilize blood sugar, which is key in the management of diabetes. Out of all the different types that are marketed, insoluble fiber, the kind that does not digest, is best. What do we need after the age of 60 according to our gender? Women over the age of 50 need a minimum of 21 grams per day. Men even need more. 30 grams is the recommended amount for most men. How does all of this add up? The facts are this. Only 5% of all of us eat enough fiber. Food choices for fiber are everywhere. However, all fiber may not be healthy for those over the age of 60. For example, this is where we learn how to substitute one type of fiber for another. Brown rice has 6 times the fiber as white rice. The taste is barely different. So the next time you're having Asian food, ask for brown rice instead of white. Next, all of us have seen the marketing for whole wheat everything. Whole wheat bread, whole wheat this, whole wheat that. Nothing wrong with whole wheat. It's a lot more fiber than not whole wheat. The most obvious source for fiber is fruits and vegetables in large amounts. Most people do not get the recommended 5 servings per day of fruits and vegetables. It's hard to do because we have been acculturated to the American diet. A good rule of thumb is to have at least 2 to 3 vegetables with each meal. Even with breakfast, an omelet can be made with spinach, onions, other greens easily. Tomatoes can be added to it. This also serves as a source of fiber. Proteins are equally important as we age. As we age, starting at 60, we lose muscle mass. Characteristically, muscle mass is built until we are in our 30s. It stabilizes for the next couple of decades. Then we start to rapidly lose muscle mass. There are many ways in which muscle mass can be maintained. One is making sure that we eat proteins in our diet. Another is resistance training to stay strong and to hold on to the muscle mass. Lifting weights is easy to do and doesn't have to be the type that are extremely heavy. Repetitive, resistant training is very effective in maintaining muscle mass. To determine how much protein we need to look at protein in numbers of grams. A good goal for a meal is 25 to 30 grams. The sources may be tuna, fish, or chicken. Also, for those that are vegetarians, there are multiple plant sources for protein. These are in the form of lentils, tofu, chickpeas, etc. A rule of thumb is 1 or more protein per meal. Unfortunately, over time, fat has gotten a bad rap. We have been told to stay away from fat because it's unhealthy. Well, there is such a thing as healthy fat. We should have no fear of that. In a recently published study, which looked at individuals whose average age was 68, they looked at which type of diet was best for them. The Mediterranean diet seemed to stand out against all others. The Mediterranean diet has been noted to include fish, whole grains, olive oil, vegetables, fruits, and nuts. In this study, at least 35% lower risk of dementia or cognitive impairment was noted in the participants. That means that these healthy fats were protective of acquiring our dementia. But all dietary fats are not equal. Which are the best ones? Those are the ones that are called omega-3s. These are found easily in flaxseed, chia, etc. When it comes to dairy, we need to know a few facts. Bone mass peaks in the late 20s. Therefore, calcium and vitamin D are crucial ingredients for the aging adult. The requirements for men and women differ. Men seem to hold on to their bone mass much better than women because of obvious hormonal changes. Women need 1,200 milligrams per day as opposed to men who only need 1,000 after the age of 60. If you don't like milk, that's really not a problem. You can substitute by eating broccoli, beans, almonds, and leafy greens, which are all good sources for calcium. Even the color of food has some benefit. Beige is out. And why is this? Well, antioxidants are usually found in colorful foods. What are antioxidants good for? Multiple things, but mainly for cardiovascular health. The three items that seem to be most popular and easily found in colorful foods are lycopene, beta-carotene, and beta-alanine. These respectively are found in tomatoes, carrots and oranges, and beets. Think about the beige foods that come across your life. That's usually bread, fried foods like catfish or chicken, and donuts. All of these things are beige. They're not that healthy and not beneficial. Since I've reviewed all of these things, I think it's only fair to end with a sample of what a day's diet may be like for the person over 60. I call this how to put a halt on aging. First, you want to start your day with protein and dairy. That may be a 3-egg omelet with spinach or tomatoes. Anything that you can think of that's a vegetable can be sauteed and added to an omelet. Yogurt would provide the dairy, which would then be a very balanced breakfast. By mid-morning, let's get some antioxidants. Let's start with the colorful fruit as a snack. For lunch, vegetable sources for protein like a black bean salad, a small chicken breast, and some asparagus. Several vegetables can be substituted, so this is easy to accomplish. For your mid-afternoon snack, try simply peanut butter on whole grain bread. For dinner, blackened salmon over brown rice with vegetables is hard to beat. And finally, to expand on your knowledge, which I can't do in just a 15-minute talk, I'm listing resources here. I love these books. I recommend them to my patients. There have been good results from sticking to these resources. I invite you to try them to help benefit things in your own life. Thank you. Happy eating and happy aging.